Hey guys, welcome back to the second video in this series, or class 2, however you want to look at it. So the point of this video series I'm going to do is to really teach you guys how to video edit, really give you guys a good in-depth look and how things work, what matters, what you need to be kind of noticing of. Because, you know, people see video editors and I don't feel like they understand how much stuff we need to know in order to make what you want to look good, you know, to keep every resolution, every pixel you intended to be in there, etc. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to teach you guys about setting the project media settings for one, 2, knowing the resolution and why it matters, and lastly about frame rates and why those matter. So we're going to cover 3 topics today. Alright, so let's just get right into it. You know, no better way than to be hands-on. So again, if you guys remember from the last class, right here we have the video preview box. With this box you can check the preview and you get to see how the video is coming along. Now there's a little cog right here. Okay, with this little cog, project video properties, go ahead and click that. This is the project video settings. So what exactly does this mean? Basically, whatever resolution you see there, whatever frame rate you see there, if you change it to a certain, you know, like a certain frame rate, a certain resolution, and you go to render it, if you don't match this settings to the render settings to the project settings, then you're gonna have some weird frame rates. Maybe the resolution is gonna be as high as you wanted. So you gotta know exactly what you're working with and what you're intending to render the video as. So what do I mean by that? Let's just get on with some examples. So I have here 2 videos, 1 picture that I want to use for demonstration purposes for this video. So let's go ahead, again, dive right in. Let's say I have this video in my timeline, which this is a Scary Encounters with the Supernatural Part 3, made by one of our video editors, or one of our animators rather, Ghost Toast. So I'm going to use this video because this video is a perfect example of matching frame rates, why it matters, and especially if you're someone in like animation, why that really does matter too. But point is, this matters universally, right? So why? What exactly am I going to show you? So let's go ahead, and I want you guys to do me a favor, okay? I want you guys to watch this little section. I have it on repeat, and just watch it. See what you notice, okay? And we'll go from there. What does it look like? What are we looking at here, right? What does it look like it's doing? To me, I see, you know, Doopy sitting on the couch watching TV, and that's pretty much it, right? Okay, now, let's go ahead, and I'm gonna put the frame rate now, and half the frames that Ghost Toast made this video under. Now I'm gonna go ahead and click play. And I'm still watching, right? Same thing still, Doopy's on the TV, she's watching. Not much different going on, right? So what exactly am I looking at? What went wrong, or what is it that I'm trying to show you guys, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the frame rate back to its original frame rate, and with some, you know, post-production editing, I'm gonna do a side-by-side so you guys can see the difference in what it is that I'm seeing. So let's go ahead and let me show you guys what we're looking at here. So now if we look back at it, you notice that in the first video, the 12 frames a second, you don't have that shimmering light effect that we're seeing in the other one, right? The reason for that is because we went from a 24-second video, or frames per second video, down to a 12. We essentially cut the frames in half. So what we did was we literally, think of it as we took away 12 pictures from what would be 24 pictures being shown, and because of that we lost that shimmering effect that Ghost Toast animated in his video, and thus that is our fault. So now later on, as we go on and render the video, we don't know any better, we're not seeing, we're not knowing exactly what we did, you know, we're gonna go ahead and give them the final video and they're gonna be like, yo, we lost like half the frames in this video doesn't look good, what happened? That's our fault. Why? Because we didn't check the intended frame rate. We didn't keep the frame rate it was intended for, and we rendered it in a frame rate that isn't compatible. So this is why it's important to understand the resolution, understand the frame rate, because you could go again from something like this, which is a nice little TV shimmering effect, and then we're gonna end up cutting the frames in half, and now all we have is nothing. We have just a regular old girl sitting on the couch. But anyway, let's get on to the second part of this now. So now let's go ahead and watch this video. I noticed something. What can you notice about this video when I click play? If you guys haven't noticed yet, it is not a 1920 by 1080 video. It's actually a 1080 by 1920. How is it that I know? How, you know, what difference does that do? It's actually because I purposely made this video for not full HD, or not HD like this. There you go, not HD long ways. I made it this way because this video was made for Instagram TV, so I had to actually flip the resolution, render the resolution under 1080 by 1920, and I also recorded him in 1080 by 1920, which is literally tilting the camera sideways vertically, and that's all I had to do. So why does it matter, right? Well, ultimately think of it like this. We have a video just like this that is intended for Instagram TV for our cell phones. Let's go ahead and say that I never changed it. I kept it at full HD. Now if you notice right here, we have these black bars, you know, which, I mean, I guess realistically would be fine, but like, let's say in comparison to, you know, Planet Dolan video that was made for 1920 by 1080, for Planet Dolan you cover up the full screen, but in this video you don't, because again, this video wasn't made for that. This was made for the opposite, 1080 by 1920. So again, why is it important? Because if I go ahead and render this video in this settings and you get these black bars, and let's say I delivered and gave it to him, he's gonna be like, yo, why am I seeing black on my video? You know, like I thought you knew that I wanted this for Instagram TV, and he's right, that shouldn't be like that, because we're not rendering a full HD 1920 by 1080, we're doing 1080 by 1920. And I know I keep saying all these numbers over and over, but that's because like you really have to understand, you know, the pixel width. You have to understand pixel width, height, you know, how many pixels per inch eventually, like the full resolution you can get the video in, because ultimately that's what we're getting paid to know, and something that, like, even though they don't understand, meaning the clients, does that mean you shouldn't understand. Now lastly, one thing to note too is, for example, this picture I have in this flyer. This flyer I actually made in Sony Vegas, believe it or not. And why does this flyer matter, right? Well, that's because this is a picture. And the reason pictures matter is because pictures, typically from when I've used this, it's never caused me issue. Pictures will never change the project media settings. It will never change anything you have pre-existing in your video. Even if this was the first thing I put into Sony Vegas, it wouldn't mess with my settings. Okay, it's just a picture. So ultimately I'm saying is also, you can also understand a way a picture was made for. So like, I made this picture big. I made this, let's see, 2508 by 4096, and I know I did that because that's what a flyer size typically is, and I was making this as a flyer. But if you can see, it's still covered in this box, right? That's because it went from being like this, and it minimized itself. It shrunk itself down to fit the video. You know, and then from there, and I know I'm going ahead of myself here, but like, just so you know, and then from there you can always resize it, you know, let it sit somewhere else, etc. So ultimately though, guys, why does all this matter? In the end, what am I trying to teach you guys in terms of knowing the project media settings, resolution, and frame rate? It's important to know that because one, you have to know what you're going to render this video under. Two, you have to know the maximum quality and resolution you're capable of producing this video in. Three, if you accidentally mess with the frame rate or the resolution of video, you have to know how to get back to it and put it to those proper settings. If you can't do that, then you might have some issues along the way in terms of if a frame rate changes and you didn't know why it did or how it did it, because sometimes that could happen. You have to at least understand how to put it back manually. You know, just get right to it and get back to work. And lastly, if you mess up the frame rate, you're gonna lose frames, you're gonna lose pictures, and it's gonna look blurry. You might get some ghosting, which I'll go more in depth in another video. And I know I said a lot in this one already, but just understand, like, I know I said a lot and I don't mean to confuse you guys. I'm not trying to throw random numbers. But, you know, rewatch this video, really understand what I'm saying. But if you have questions on any of this, please leave it down in the comment section. Or if you're like, hey, you know, like, I did this, I got this result, let me know how you got that result. I can recreate it, find an answer for you, and we'll go from there. But other than that, guys, that is the purpose of this video today. And I'm hoping you take away the information I gave you. Run with it, practice it, check your Sony Vegas, or not even, if not Sony Vegas, check your video editor that you're using. And, you know, mess with the settings, see what it's like. See what it's like to see a video. For example, if I go right here, and I'm like, okay, I know 1920 by 1080 is Full HD. Let's say I want to see a video in, I don't know, 320 by 320. What would that look like? Ooh, it's a blurry box. You know, why is it blurry? Why is it a box? You know what I mean? Like, start understanding stuff like that. I already know why it is, because one, it's already low resolution. 320 by 320, that's such a low resolution video as it is, for one. Two, it's a box because 320 by 320 equals a square. So, you know, it's stuff like that that you're going to get familiar with. But overall, I'm in a tangent now. Run with this information I told you and taught you. Learn it and apply it. Start practicing. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. If you are learning and you like these and you want this series to keep going, because I do want to make these for anyone that's really, you know, interested in learning about software, hardware, and video editing. You know, feel free to subscribe, keep up with me. Like this video if you liked it, please. I would appreciate it. And again, in the comment section, leave anything you guys want to ask, recommend to me, something you want to learn. And feel free to follow me also on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll go from there. But okay, enough of that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and keep on learning.